Welcome back to Grammar Grade 12. This is Unit 4, Lesson 30, and today we tackle one of the most common slips in all of writing, the sentence fragment. A fragment can look completely convincing on the page, capital letter at the front, period at the end, and still not be a real sentence at all. So we'll learn exactly what a fragment is, the 3 usual reasons one sneaks in, a quick 3-question test to catch it, and 2 clean ways to fix it. Let's get started. Let's start with what a sentence fragment actually is. A fragment looks like a sentence. It opens with a capital letter and closes with a period. But it's incomplete, missing something a true sentence has. Take this. Although the bridge trembled. It begins with a capital and ends with a period, yet it leaves you hanging. Trembled, and then what happened? A complete sentence expresses a whole thought, one you can rest on. So hold on to this from the very start. A capital and a period are not enough. Punctuation alone never makes a sentence. The first common cause of a fragment is a missing subject. The subject is the who or the what the words are about, the one doing the action. Look at this. Ran across the field at dawn. There's a verb, ran, and there's plenty of detail. But who ran? Nobody is named, so the thought just dangles. Add the subject and it becomes whole. The colt ran across the field at dawn. Now we know exactly who acts. So whenever a group of words gives you an action, but never names the doer, you are almost certainly looking at a fragment. The second cause is a missing verb. The verb is the word that tells what the subject does, or simply that it is. Consider this. The lighthouse on the rocky point. We have a subject, the lighthouse, and a phrase telling us where it stands, but nothing ever happens. There is no verb, so the thought never closes. Give it one, and it comes alive. The lighthouse on the rocky point blinked. Now the subject actually does something. Watch out for this one. A long, detailed group of words can still be a fragment if it never lands on a verb. The third cause is subtler. Some groups of words can't stand by themselves, no matter how complete they sound. Take this. Because the tide rose so fast. That's a subordinate clause. It has a subject and a verb. But the word because leaves it leaning on a main clause that never arrives. Or take a bare phrase, under the weathered wooden pier. It paints a picture, yet it names no subject and no action. Both are fragments. Here's your warning sign. Opening words like because, although, when, since, or if signal a clause that still needs a main sentence to lean on. Let's turn all of that into a simple test you can run on any group of words. Ask 3 questions in order. 1. Is there a subject, someone or something the words are about? 2. Is there a verb, an action, or a state of being? And 3. Does it express a complete thought, one that can stand on its own? If the answer to every question is yes, you have a sentence. But if the answer to any single question is no, you're holding a fragment. 3 quick questions and no fragment can slip past you. Now the best part, fixing a fragment. 2 repairs handle almost every case. The first, attach the fragment to a nearby main clause so it borrows the sentence it was leaning on. Because the tide rose so fast becomes, because the tide rose, we hurried inland. The second repair, add whatever's missing. Supply the absent subject or the absent verb until the words can stand alone. Either way, your goal is the same. Make the thought stand on its own 2 feet. Do that, and every fragment turns into a real sentence. Let's practice. In this first set, I'll show you a group of words, and you decide. Is it a complete sentence or a fragment? And if it's a fragment, what's the cause? Pause the video and choose before I reveal each answer. Whispered a warning through the trees. There's an action here, whispered, and a vivid setting, but ask the first question. Is there a subject? Who whispered? No one is named. So this is a fragment, and what it's missing is a subject. The falcon circled the tower twice. Run the test. Is there a subject? Yes, the falcon. Is there a verb? Yes, circled. Does it express a complete thought? It does. Nothing is left dangling. So this one is a complete sentence. When the harbor bell finally rang. This one is tricky. It has a subject, the bell, and a verb, rang. But that little word when at the front leaves it leaning on a main clause that never arrives. So it's a fragment, a subordinate clause standing alone. Now each item is a fragment. Your job is to decide what it's missing or how best to fix it. Pause and choose before I answer. The fragment is the astronomer beside the great telescope. It names a subject, the astronomer, and describes where she stands, but nothing ever happens. There is no action and no state of being. What it needs is a verb. The fragment is sketched the coastline all afternoon. There's a clear action, sketched, and plenty of detail. But who did the sketching? No one is named. What this fragment needs is a subject. The fragment is, although the storm had passed. It already has a subject and a verb, so it isn't missing either one. The trouble is the word although, which leaves it leaning. The best fix is to attach it to a main clause. For example, although the storm had passed, the streets were still flooded. Let's gather up what we've learned. First, a fragment is a group of words punctuated like a sentence, capital letter, period, but it doesn't express a complete thought. Second, there are three usual causes: a missing subject, a missing verb, or a subordinate clause or phrase left standing all alone. And third, you fix a fragment two ways: attach it to a nearby main clause, or add the subject or verb it's missing until it can stand on its own. Run the three-question test, and no fragment will ever fool you. In our next lesson, Lesson 31, we'll look at the opposite problem, run-on sentences, where two complete thoughts get jammed together without the right punctuation. I'll see you there.